Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to Yarn and Pajamas. Today is day number 10 of Vlogmas. So I have my number 10 gift here from Summer. Summer and I did a Christmas swap, and we done it Advent style. So I have a gift to open for the first 25 days of December. I'm in a new location tonight. We have our tree up. My mom put it up. It's not decorated, but it's put up. And sorry about the TV. I was watching Downton Abbey and I just paused it. Okay, so day number 10. Let's see what's in here. I already sliced it open. So let's open it up. Ooh, looks like I got some nice writing goodies. So I've got a notebook here. Ooh, that's cute. It's got like this colorful dots, and these like dots with the cutouts, and it's like plasticky. I got some ink pens. I got a pink one, an orange one, and a purple one. It said they're felt tip pens. Ooh, and I also got a prayer journal from Our Daily Bread. It says, finding peace for the day. Discover the peace that surpasses all understanding with this Our Daily Bread prayer journal. Grab your favorite pen and fill out these pages with praise and prayers to God. Inside, you'll find ample writing space, encouraging Bible verses, inspiring quotes, and breathtaking photos of God's creations. So there, awesome. Thank you very much, Summer, for my day number 10 gifts. I really appreciate those. Let me put that over there. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and get started with our story from The Magic of Christmas Miracles. I think this is like the second book, because it says an all-new collection of inspiring true stories. So I bet there is another one. I'll have to research that. Let me take my glasses off so I can see. Tonight's story is called Angels Among Us. It was Saturday, November 30th, 1996. The day started like any other Saturday in the winter. The kids spent the morning sacked out in front of the TV. I cleaned the house, and Jim was deer hunting. For the first time, I already had the majority of my shopping finished, and all the Christmas decorations were up except for the tree. So now all we had to do was sit back and enjoy the holidays. By early afternoon, the girls and I decided to do a little shopping. We went to a nearby craft store to get supplies to make a wreath for my mom and 2 for ourselves. I enjoyed letting the girls help me pick out decorations. After that, we browsed in a nearby department store. By then, the sky had turned dark and it was obvious a storm was coming. I've never been fond of driving in the rain, so we headed for home. Besides, I had plans to go out with some of my girlfriends, and the kids were excited about their favorite babysitter, Crystal, coming over. They knew that she would be ready to play Barbies and bake cookies. The weather got much worse as we got closer to home. We were only a few miles from home when in an instant our lives changed forever. It's still hard to think about, although it is one of my first thoughts in the morning and last thoughts each night. Holly and I were only banged up a little. Heather was a different story. She took the majority of the impact from the crash. She was flown by Nightingale helicopter to the trauma center in the next town. Holly and I had to go to the local hospital first. It was awful to be torn from Heather when I wasn't sure she was going to make it to the hospital. Jim and some family friends met me at the local hospital, and they took us to the trauma center where Heather had been taken. When we arrived, they couldn't tell us much except that they were running tests. Then the trauma specialist asked to speak to Jim and myself alone. They took us to a room and closed the door. I knew it couldn't be good news, and I was right. They explained to us that Heather had a closed traumatic brain injury meaning that her brain was swollen and bleeding, and she was in a coma. Unless you have experienced something traumatic happening to your child, you can't imagine what this did to us. I've always been strong and able to suppress my emotions long enough to do what was needed to be done in emotional situations. But this time it was different. I just cried and asked, how could this happen? The age-old question everyone asks when tragedy strikes. We had a lot of questions. What does this mean? How long will she be in a coma? Will she live? If she lives, will she be healthy? The doctors couldn't answer any of our questions. We have since learned that brain injuries are still much of a mystery to them. They can never truly predict the outcome. All they could do was watch her, keep the swelling and bleeding down, and wait for nature to take its course. All we could do was pray and then pray some more. Suddenly, our lives stopped. All the little things that seemed important before didn't mean anything now. We sat by Heather's side day and night. We left only when the nurses changed shifts and made us leave. At first, we weren't to do anything to get Heather excited or agitated. All we could do was watch her and pray. Soon she was transferred to a private room. She was still in a coma. This was still a new concept for us. Patients in a coma are not like anything you see on television. They can open their eyes, move, and even fight when they are agitated, which can be a lot of the time. Within a week, Heather had become a handful. We were encouraged to talk to her as we had always done and to keep her stimulated. It was suggested that we talk to her about things she liked or play music. We looked for little signs of life from her, like opening her eyes. She started therapy, and the therapist showed us different things we needed to do several times a day with Heather. All of it seemed to annoy her. Little things would disturb Heather, like more than one person talking at a time, or simply trying to brush her hair or teeth. So we had to do things quietly and gently. We continued to talk to her and play tapes she liked. Since it was Christmas time, we played Christmas music. Around this time, Jim and I decided he should go back to work to save up on his leave. The doctors still weren't sure how long Heather would be in the hospital. She was getting ready to be moved to the rehab department and could be there for a while. So he went to work each day and came to the hospital to spend the evenings and nights with us. On December 12, 1996, Heather and I were resting in her room. I had just lain down to try to take a nap since Jim and I had been up all night with her. She'd been a little restless, so I had decided to play some music to calm her. I had purchased a tape by the group Alabama for her for Christmas and decided she might like to listen to it now. We had listened to the tape before and had stopped just before her favorite song, Angels Among Us. I put the tape in and sat down to rest. Soon after the song started, I noticed tears, real tears, streaming down Heather's face. I was shocked. We had always cried together when we heard this song. This was the first real sign to me that she was aware of what was happening around her. I went over to the bed and gave her a big hug and told her that everything was all right. I then said, "Mommy loves you." What happened next literally took my breath away. In a very mumbled voice, Heather said, "I love you too, Mommy." These were the most precious words I had ever heard. I was afraid my mind was playing tricks on me, so I asked her to say it again, and she said, "I love you too." I jumped on the bed and held her in my arms, and we both cried. God had answered my prayers. I knew then that Heather was going to be all right. She might have to learn some things over, but she would be okay. So many people have prayed for her, and their miracles were being answered. Coming completely out of the coma was something that took days, but Heather was on her way. She didn't sleep at all that night. She talked all night. She wanted to know about her cat and her dog and even her babysitter. She could answer any questions we asked about family, friends, and things that had happened. Her memory was intact. It was slow in processing, but Heather hadn't lost her precious memories. To see Heather today, you would never know that the accident ever happened. We have many things to thank for that. It all started with the people who stopped to help at the accident scene. They could have kept on driving, but they didn't. From the very first night, the hospital was full of family and many friends who came to support and pray and help in any and every way possible. They brought tapes, cards, stuffed animals, and Christmas decorations. A close friend, Paula, had opened an account for us at a local bank for donations to help with medical bills and finances since I was unable to work. People from all over sent donations, cards, letters, and gifts. We also have the awesome power of the song Angels Among Us to thank. God works in so many ways, and I believe He worked His miracle for Heather through the power of this wonderful song. Word of this news spread fast after a local country music station heard of our wonderful Christmas miracle. What happened next was a miracle in itself. We were already overwhelmed by cards and gifts we had received. But when word got out of our miracle, they came in even greater abundance. Heather's room looked like a Christmas gift shop. We had hospital employees just stopping by to say hi and to see the Christmas room they had heard so much about. Donations to our fund were unbelievable. The local radio station and 2 Alabama fan club members arranged for a trip for us to see and meet Alabama as soon as Heather was ready. Jim and I were again in a state of shock over the outpouring of love. People from all over the United States with their own set of problems took time to think about ours. It restored our faith in the basic goodness of people and made us truly thankful. Heather was discharged on December 20th, 1996, less than a month after the accident that should have taken years for her to recover from. Today she's on the honor roll, has started playing the clarinet in the band, is twirling baton, has joined the Girl Scouts, and is getting ready for the softball season. In other words, she is back to her old self. For this, we thank our family, our friends, those we know and those we don't, medical personnel, and most of all, God. They have all shown us that they are truly angels among us. This was submitted by Penny Harcum of Suffolk, Virginia. What did you guys think about that story for tonight? That was pretty cool, I thought. I did not know that about comas. That was something new for me. I didn't know that that patients were so active during a coma. I just thought that they were like what they were on TV, like they just laid there like they were asleep. But that was something different. I'm sorry that family had to go through that. That had to be horrible. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about tonight's story. And I will see you again tomorrow on day number 11. Bye.